Welcome back to Season 2 of Viva New Mexico. I'm your host, Jamie B. Joining us in the studio is Daddy-O, actor, director. On his Facebook page, it says he's trying to navigate the world and be a good human. Marc Comstock. Marc, thanks so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Bet. Okay, let's get right into it. Going to jump right into it. You served multiple terms as the SAG-AFTRA New Mexico local president.
Correct.
What do you see as the biggest unique challenges and triumphs for union actors working here in New Mexico?
So the incentives have always been helpful, and once we had the infrastructure, that's kind of was the game changer. And we do have things built into the incentives that favor above the line, which actors qualify for, that try to kind of take advantage of that. There's a cap for above the line actors, like let's say like a Josh Brolin. They can use so much of his salary, and then after that, they don't get the discount. But if they hire local actors, that we don't count against that cap. So they can hire us for roles that they might have been and still get a refund on us. And they're starting to realize that our talent is a pretty deep pool here.
It is. Some very talented actors here in New Mexico. Moving right along, during the recent Hollywood strikes, you were a prominent local voice. How did that period reshape the solidarity and resilience of the New Mexico acting community?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think as creatives, we saw all this boom that are not just in New Mexico, but with all these mergers and streamers, this kind of boom of content being created, and then noticing that the payout to the creatives that create those shows, the things we watched during COVID and all of those things, the compensation wasn't up to par with what the streamings were charging and all of that. And so it was the first time I saw collective bargaining and firsthand in the sense of it really motivated people. When we marched at Netflix, we had a huge turnout. And local favorite Patrick Fabian, he used to always say, it's not wanting a king's ransom, it's wanting a living wage. And I think that message really came across that we're not trying to be greedy, but we want to qualify for health insurance and we want to have a living wage. And a living wage is different in every city, but it's not a big ask. We're all gig workers, right? We all have day jobs and gig jobs. So if your gig, for some of us, acting like me is like this really well side gig, but others, it's their livelihood. So you want to have a contract that reflects that.
You think that's happening? Actors are getting
I do,
more.
and I know we're in a slow period right now, but we just ratified it's 3-year increments. They just ratified the new contract. So I think some of the studios were holding out to make sure there wasn't a second strike.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened the first time was things were started and they had to be stopped and they were slow getting back up again. So I have a feeling as the dust settles on all these mergers, things will certainly start to uptick.
Oh, that's great.
But it reminds me when I first came here and we didn't have all these incentives where you'd get one audition every 3 months and we're kind of back in that frame. So I think everyone's panicking a little bit. But
yeah. Going back to when you first moved here in 2012, you've watched the local film landscape change drastically. What are the most significant shifts you've witnessed in the Albuquerque production hub over the last decade?
Well, obviously the infrastructure from NBC Universal and Netflix and everyone else, Sinlease, who's come here. But our crew, I would put the crew that is New Mexico based against any crew. It is deep, it is talented, hardworking individuals that love it, people who have come from other markets and have stayed. But our crew depth is unmatched, in my opinion.
Deep pool of talent, too.
Deep pool of talent and people who are ready to be department heads and move up that ladder because their talent is here. We as actors have started getting guest star roles and recurring roles and things like that.
Oh, that's great.
So they're seeing the talent on the acting side, but our crew is amazing out here. Yeah.
Good to hear. Good to hear. You successfully balanced screen acting with the local stage directing. How does your deep background in front of the camera shape your approach when directing live theater at venues like Actors Studio 66 and the Adobe Theater?
Yeah, theater's always, that's what my degree is in, and that's where I started. But when you have these lulls as a creative, you still have that urge to get something creative out there. So I found myself jumping into the theater community. So I started as acting. And when I was on during the night shift, the lead actor, Owen, had mentioned what made him a better actor was being a director.
Ah,
And that really landed with me.
yes.
So then I started pursuing, I had done some directing in college, doing directing and doing theater. So I've been on a pretty strong directing kick lately, but it's the collaboration that I love about it.
Collaboration.
And yeah,
I can imagine.
well, I mean, you know this too, just in anything that we're doing that we want to tell a story, it's not just my point of view,
No.
right? And what makes for an interesting story is when there's not necessarily even conflicting, but just different perspectives.
Many points of view, yeah.
Yeah.
You recently took on directing Julius Caesar
Yes.
for the 2026 New Mexico Shakespeare Festival. What specific local or modern parallels did you want to highlight for Albuquerque audiences with this classic tragedy?
Yeah, right. It's that fine line between having a piece that's timely, because you feel like, this is we're living in a very fascist or fascist adjacent world right now. So the audience doesn't need to be hit over the head with the parallels
No.
of Julius Caesar now. So you want to also make it entertaining, but have that message come through. So I took the concept of it being like a film noir, right? I had watched The Third Man with Orson Welles, and I saw his character of Harry Lime and kind of in the parallels of Cassius, and Brutus is the one he gets corrupted. So and then that just lent itself to 1939 Italy, which was kind of the beginning of the fascist thing, without being, hey, these are fascists happening. As this happens to be the story and this is the style, you'll get the parallels.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Whether directing or collaborating with Musical Theater Southwest, what is your philosophy on building chemistry with a local ensemble?
Yeah, I think anyone does this too. Like, when they're casting in film or putting together a crew, it's putting together a team. You want to have no or little drama.
No drama, really.
Yeah, right. They say drama's on the stage, not off.
Right.
So in the audition process, you kind of get a sense of who they are as people, how they're reacting to the pressure of that. But it's the people who can laugh when they kind of mess up, or when they're talking with them, have a sense of humor. So I want someone who I know I can collaborate with, right? They won't be defensive, and I want them to have a sense of they can bring an idea to me or a question to me if something's not working, and we'll fix it together. It's not, I don't want to be that director, it's my way or the highway. So
You want someone with ideas as well.
yeah, and then having worked in the community, we also have just our set of friends, right? So whether you cast your friends, you want them to at least audition,
Right.
right? Like my best friend Matt Heath was my Caesar, and he auditioned for it, and then he was the choice, and then I had the joy of teasing him that I got him stabbed every night. So
Great friendship.
yeah, right. And he's like, yeah, but he was like, yeah, but I'm done in the first act. So so those are the people you want to work with, because we're not doing it for the money.
No,
So let's have some fun and tell a good story.
it's awesome. You started your journey with a BA in theater from Colorado State University
Yes.
and worked extensively in Seattle and LA.
Yep.
What foundational habit from your early theater days have served you best on massive film sets?
Yeah, really the biggest thing is stay in your lane. Know your job. Like, I'm here as an actor. I'm not here to talk about crafty. I am not here to talk to the grip about where something should go. And that's how you help any production, whether it's small or big. It's staying in your lane to let the people that are those jobs do their jobs.
Yeah, doing the best you can in your profession.
And you see that down to the macro and micro levels on a film set, right? You can't move that cord unless you're in this group, right? And those things, and you're like, yep, but that makes it efficient. They're looking out for what they need to cover. So work on yourself in that sense of, what's my job? How can I tell this story? And that's the same thing in theater, except you might do a few other things. You might get your own costume, right? But that's a collaboration too. Or you might, help hang lights or build the set. You don't have to worry about that in the film world.
Right.
But it's that same thing of like, if they ask for help, I will, but otherwise I'll assume they have it and let them do their job, and not me come in and tell them how to build a set, and they won't tell me to come in and how to direct Caesar.
You're actively involved in mentoring younger actors trying to navigate the industry. What is the single piece of advice you find yourself repeating most often to those starting their careers?
Get out. No. I always say, because
Did you hear that?
Yeah, right. You'll fix that in post, right? No. Back when I worked at the Writers Guild in L.A., the late great Catherine Woodson, who was Mrs. Van Landingham, she came in and she was like, "What do you do?" And I'm an actor, and I was talking about the struggles because it's L.A. And she's like, "Does it make your heart sing?" And I said, "Yes."
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, "Then keep doing it." So to baby actors and green actors, if you're already resilient, you're in a business where we get rejected more than we get hired. So if you can handle that and are still having fun, then do it. But my biggest piece of advice is have something outside of that. Like in LA, it was just about the business that you miss, maybe you miss an anniversary for your parents, or you don't go on a trip because you might have an audition. So when I got to New Mexico, I mean, you could also have a kid. That was a big distraction in the best way. But like, be hiking. I know people who paint or who write. Do something to fill that void, so that it doesn't feel like your life isn't moving as fast as you want, or your career isn't moving as fast as you want. If you have these other balances in your life, it'll make you a better actor because you're a more balanced life. And two, when your mind's not focused, it's kind of like, a watch pot never boils, right? Then you start doing these things. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, I have an audition, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll be excited. Now, it's still good to do things like take classes. I always tell actors, do something once a day that reminds you that you're an actor. Read a play. Is there an actor you love? Watch one of their early work. Watch anything that's been shot in New Mexico so you see how they see our population. I always love to see who got the role when I didn't, so I can make a voodoo doll. And no, because that's the other good thing. Anyone who comes to New Mexico from LA, this is something you have to learn. It really is. Back when we were in the room auditioning, and to a degree online, it really was, if I don't get it, I want you to get it.
Absolutely.
Right? And that really, to me, set it apart from my audition period. In LA, it was like, well, if I don't get it, I hope you all die. Right? So don't have that attitude.
No.
So, grateful and kind and root on, but we have plenty of stuff that is shot here to look and do research on. Reading a play, you can get them online. I go down and we have many used bookstores have great collections. Just do something that makes you creative. If you were to direct a show, how would you direct it? What a proposal. My generation, our generation, we didn't have smartphones.
No, we didn't.
Like, why are you not making a film every weekend?
Went to the library or...
Right. Played Dungeons and Dragons, or is that just me? No.
No, I did.
But yeah, you have, shoot something. I just finished the autobiography of James Burrows, who just passed, the sitcom director. And that was kind of his big piece of advice was write something and shoot it and show someone, and it doesn't have to be good. Just do it. I think we get in that mindset of like, well, if I want to be an artist, I have to be a good artist.
Good, yeah.
Does it make you happy? Yeah, then be a shitty artist. Just do it.
We learn from our failures.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, you've had this career too, where you've been like collaborative and what stories you tell, and that's rewarding,
It is.
right? That's where you're like,
Very
this is
much.
why I do it. It's the people connection.
But it's not the only thing you do.
Right. Yeah. What do you do for balance?
Music.
Yeah, really.
I'm a musician.
See, that's exactly.
I write music.
See, and
I
that
teach music.
and that scratches that creative
Yes,
itch,
it
right?
does.
Where do you stand on the mighty Bruce Springsteen? Careful how you answer.
Maybe a 6, 7.
All right.
Yeah. I love Bruce. Yeah.
All right.
I think 6, 7.
All right.
Yeah, 6, 7. 6, 7.
Yeah. All right. This is out. I'm gonna storm out.
Mark, is there anything that I may have overlooked that you'd like to cover?
No. I think this is just great that you're doing this, and this is another thing too. Listen to podcasts. Listen to things that struck and Krista always been a champion of New Mexico film. So follow, listen. I got all my industry scoop when I first moved here. Everyone's like, have you met Krista? Have you met One Headlight? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And then I was down your rabbit hole and it was great. So find your tribe. Find your tribe and they'll get you through when it's slow and stuff. Because they'll remind you they're all in the same boat.
Yeah, all in the same boat. Yeah. One final question, Mark.
Yeah.
New Mexico is considered to be the chili capital of the world.
Yes.
What's your favorite, red or green?
I moved here for green, but I have evolved to Christmas.
Awesome. Christmas. I love it.
Yeah. when I was married at the time, but it was like you can get a Frontier breakfast burrito if you move here, and I'm like, oh, I could get many different kinds of breakfast burritos if I move here. So that was like one of the drawing factors, and now I'm like, oh, red, green, and my Swedish background, and it's like ketchup was too spicy growing up, right? So now I'm like, no, the hotter the better.
Hotter the better. Anything new coming up for you?
No, I just finished the Julius Caesar, and I've got a couple pitches in for next season to possibly direct. And I'm gonna take a little time off. Gonna go to Hawaii next week. I've never been.
Oahu?
Yeah, Honolulu.
Honolulu, Oahu.
Yeah. So looking forward to that, and then come back, recharge the battery, and hopefully things will be upticking.
Great place to recharge your batteries.
Right.
I lived there for a year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So doing the right thing.
All right. Well, see, there's that.
Mark, it's been a pleasure meeting you.
Oh, this is great. Thanks for having me on.
For coming on. Director, actor, Daddy-O,
Now
Marc
I'm on.
Comstock. I'm Jamie B. for Viva New Mexico.